Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be painting these sketches I made on my sketchbook, and for this special occasion I decided to create a new brush, an inking brush that you can download for free on the link you can find below. But before painting, don't forget to take a look at my Gumroad store where I upload the brushes that I made and I create, also some tutorials that I made for Patreon, and also you can have access if you don't want to become a patron. And also the mega bundle with the PDF tutorials, video tutorials, layered files, time lapses, and high quality images. And all being said, guys, let's start with the painting. Today I wanted to talk to you about some topics instead of just explaining my process, because I have been lately hating my art so much. And I don't know, guys, I don't know if this is something that happens to you too, but I have moments or stages over the year that I really hate what I'm doing. Now I'm in one of them, I can't lie. And so I decided that I really wanted to talk to you about my thoughts on these things, what things I do to try to solve this, and maybe also you can give some suggestions that you can leave on the comments below so other people and even myself can do, because it's very frustrating when you are spending a lot of time doing an artwork and you see it at the end and it's like, okay, I hate it. I don't like anything of what I did here. So I don't know what this happens, but I think, at least for me, I think it's because I try or I do exactly the same process over and over and over in each illustration I made, and suddenly one day I just look at this illustration and I see that has a lot of mistakes, not only on the painting, also on the sketching. In the end, it's like that I didn't like it and I hate it and I just want to delete it. So yeah, as I said, I have been for so long now, guys, on this type of mood where I am not really sure if what I'm doing is something that I like to do. I mean, I really like to draw girls and I really like to paint digitally, but at the same time I have the feeling that I'm not growing as an artist and I'm just repeating myself and doing the same time to time. And I have been with these signs last summer, I guess, so it's a bunch of months. And I think this feeling came because and if you're here and you're new and you don't know me, I am a freelance illustrator, so I do projects, of course, and I have been working from last year in a book series where I have to draw the characters and I have to draw like scenes and I have to communicate with my illustrations and do some kind of support to the text that the people is reading. And I think making the book illustrations has opened my mind into another type of drawing, because until now my drawings were very modelly, or that it was a character that is like looking at the camera or to us, doing nothing, just without any kind of expression. So making the books makes me put more effort on expressions, for example. Also, as is a one color illustration, so that means that I didn't have to put colors, but I do have to ink the illustrations. I have to make things simpler because, of course, I don't want to overcomplicate myself and put a lot of details. And you have to try to express or to make people understand what's happening in a very quick site. So I had to do a great work of simplification on the style and on the shape of the faces and everything. I'm quite happy of the result of the book, but it's true that in some way it's affecting my other type of style, the one that I have been doing until last year. Right now, I'm going to start the third book illustration. The inking of the third book illustration. So I have been feeling that with each book, I have been simplifying more and having like this type of thought that I would love to draw like in a more comic way, more focus on not in very renderized images, but more simpler images and also more cute. I don't know if this is making sense. Another thing I realized over this process is that I want to put more texture on my illustrations. And also this is because of the book, because even when you don't have colors to put, you have to try to get the image more interesting. And I have been working with some kind of textures. And now every time I draw with my regular process and I see the final result, I really hate it. I hate it because it didn't have texture. I hate it because it didn't have contrast. I hate it because everything I applied over last years now isn't working for me. So at that point, I decided that I really needed to search other kind of references, like other artists, for example, traditional artists like Sibylline Maynet. Also, recently I found Fefal. She is a very known artist, but I didn't know her until last week. And I laughed a lot yesterday when I read one of the comments of my patrons saying that, where are you been? Because he's very famous. And it's true, because it has like over 1 million of followers on Instagram. But yeah, I discovered it last week. And these illustrations I made here are very based on her work, because she works with a very thick outline, also very bright colors. Her work is more darker than mine, but I really like how she synthesized or how she simplified the shapes and simplified the coloring, and she achieved great effects with it. The same with Sibylline Maynet. She works on wash and he has a lot of texture, and maybe you can see some of the textures that Sibylline can have on her drawings on the illustration, because I have been working on some wash brushes that I didn't share yet. I shared them with patrons and in the workshop I made back on September, but they're not in any other place. But I'm working on making this brush set more, bigger, to make it or to put it on Gumroad. But I'm practicing with textures. I'm practicing with different type of colorings. You will see, or you have seen, I tried to make some gradients with the soft brush to get like more visual interest to my drawings, and also adding details. I think details are the top of it. If you see the illustration that I'm painting right now, it has some kind of tattoos, it has the flowers. The second one that I'm going to paint, it's more simpler, and I think it's more boring. It was the first one that I made, and guys, when I grab a sketchbook and I start sketching, the first sketches they are always like very simple, because I have fear to grab the pencil and the sketchbook because I know it's very hard for me. But hopefully practicing this way, I can have or I can gain some practice and I can start sketching better, and I can also lose the fear to the sketch. I don't have this feeling with digital art, because I'm feeling super secure and confident when I paint on digital. But it's not the same with traditional art. So if you are in this type of black hole that you are hating what you're doing, I would suggest to start thinking or making different things. Maybe you can change the medium. And also this is very similar to when we talk about art blocks. I think this is different from an art block, because I can draw and I draw things but I hate it, and I feel motivated to draw, but every time I draw I don't like it. But I think the solutions or things that you can do to try to solve that are very similar. Try different mediums. For example, now I started with the traditional art, and I'm mixing it because you see that I made a photo of my sketchbook and I am painting over. And I think it's a very interesting process because I can have like the both things. I can have the sketching or the type of a sketch I have on paper that is more simpler than the one I can do with digital art. But then I can color better on the iPad, you know? So I think trying to mix mediums, work on traditional and digital at the same time, color your sketchbook on the iPad or wherever. Try different things, try to experience things, feel free to do this stuff. And don't get stressed and don't worry about the style thing, because right now, for example, I had some kind of a style, but somehow I am changing it in some kind of progress, and every time I do something, it's different from the last thing I did, and the coloring technique I am using is not the same that I have been using before. So don't worry about styles, don't worry about that. I think it's very interesting to try ways to solve your problems, you know, your problems with your art style, the problems with your inner feelings about the way you draw. And also, it's good to make studies from other artists you like. Maybe they don't have to be the artists you have been following recently. You can find new artists, as the same I had with Fefal, as I said, that I recently discovered her. So I take a look to her drawings, and also because of that, I just discover other artists, you know, that has similar style or has the similar type of inking. And, you know, you are opening your mind to other creative process from other artists, because I think sometimes we tend to follow an artist that we like and we get attached too much to that artist that in the end you are not evolving your style, you are not growing as an artist, and you are getting I think frustrated. At least, I mean, I don't think everyone is going to feel the same, but there are some kind of artists that after a long time doing the same, they got bored. And if it's your case, try to do these things, discover new artists. You can do it on, for example, on Pinterest. You can discover a lot of artists for sketching, for painting, traditional mediums. Also on Instagram, we have the Explore tab that you can find there a lot of new artists that maybe you didn't discover yet, and you can feel inspired with it. And basically, I think, guys, this is the two most important things to do. Experiment with your art, with the mediums. Maybe even if you didn't use or if you have a sketchbook, but you don't have to have all the watercolors, all the washes, all the alcohol markers. Maybe you can try to sketch with the pen instead of the pencil. Or if you didn't sketch anything, just grab the pencil and start sketching. And you will see that this is going to make the difference to how do you feel. For example, right now I am feeling much more motivated, and I have to say that I'm feeling happy with this, even, you know, with the result of this illustration that I'm painting here. Even they could be done better in the iPad, of course, but somehow I like the style, you know, this simpler style that I don't get, or I didn't spend that much time to finish an artwork just for making or putting details or putting lighting effects. I'm making shadows, I'm making shines, highlights. You know, I keep it simple and I like it. I like the results. So I think I'm going to continue practicing this type of style and see what happens, because I really love the texture I get this time. Not only with the brushes that they are super texture, but also with, as I said, the gradients and playing with different colors, because also this color palette is out completely of what I tend to do. And it's the first time that I try to fulfill like a full sketchbook page with the same color. I think it's a very interesting thing to do if you didn't, or if you never done that, because I had a rough time choosing the colors and making them work. And not only in one of the drawings, in one drawing, in the 3 of them, because they have to match. So even I work with different hues of purples and pinks. In the end, I think they ended up looking very, very fine. At least better than the traditional painting I made, because I already paint this spread of my sketchbook in a traditional way with the watercolors, and I have to be honest, it looks bad. And but even it looks bad, I didn't hate it. I didn't have that hating feeling that I have when I finish one of my digital artworks, because I know I am bad drawing with watercolors, so I don't have that kind of pressure that it has to look fine or perfect or be amazing. I know it looks bad because it is what it is, but I'm happy that I'm being able to draw some girls and to sketch some girls and paint them with the watercolors, because remember that 2 videos ago when I was trying the watercolors, I said that I wanted to paint plants for a few months before going for girls. But the other day I was inspired doing that, and I decided that it was the moment to at least try it, even it's going to look bad. And yeah, I did it. So I'm going to share you on the community tab when I finish, because I have one illustration to finish the spread, but I will share with you the results. I mean, they're going to be bad, so no pressure here. And I think I'm having, again, this moment, or I'm doing this right now, because if you have been in Instagram lately, you see the engagement and the reach is so bad that a bunch of people, I mean, a very less bunch of people is looking at your work and knowing you and following you. So I think it's a good moment to start experiment this, because before I was very attached to what people like or what Instagram like. It's not that people, it's more the algorithms. But I wanted to do art that was suitable to the algorithms and to the people likes. And now that I don't have also that pressure, because I have very bad engagement as a lot of artists, and we can do anything about that, I think the positive thing of this is that now you can do other type of artworks, because nobody is going to see it. So, well, some people is going to see it, but in the end, they are not going to arrive to a big amount of people. So you have to feel free to do it and lose the fear for losing followers and these things. And I am in this sweet moment. I mean, I had a very bad moment at first, hating my art, but I tried to keep the positive thing and try to change the thing and change how I was feeling, and make it more on the way to try new things and to open my mind to other mediums. I was very bad with traditional art since I was in art school, so now I think it's a moment to push this away. So I would love if you tell me your experience on comments and tell me how it's going with you, if you have this type of hating moments. And if you like this type of video, please give a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe if you're new here. And I really appreciate your support. Also, I want to thank to my patrons that they help me a lot in this process where I am sad or angry with myself or with my art. And I hope you really enjoyed this video, and see us again on the next one. Bye bye.